My name's John. The first time I smoked weed was probably my sophomore year of high school. I had a friend named Matt I used to hang out with all the time, and I went over to his house one day after school, and he had it. He was younger than me, actually. And he had some, packed a bowl, and I started smoking it there. And I didn't smoke it for a while. I really started smoking a lot of it when I got into my about senior year of high school. I had a buddy come up from North Carolina. I used to hang out with him when I was a little kid. And he'd asked me before we played this online game together if I'd been smoking weed and all that, and I lied to him because I didn't feel like I knew him too well. But he came back and we started hanging out again, and this kid was the biggest pothead I've ever met in my life. Anywho, so that started that. I started smoking all the time with him. I work at a grocery store, and I'd make about $230 a week probably, and me and him would buy about $120 worth of pot at the beginning of each week, and we'd blow through that. But it progressed after that. He ended up getting married and moving away. I didn't hang out with him as much, but I met other friends in college. They all smoked pot and everything. And a few people I met, um, I went up hanging out with them one time, and they had some kind of drug. It was called Molly, and I'd heard about it in fucking like rap songs and whatnot. But so I tried that there, and after that experience, I decided I liked it, and I tried it a few times after that, parties and whatnot with my friends. I never really paid for it except for maybe twice. Uh, I've tried other things in my life. I've tried mushrooms quite a few times, and that's probably my favorite drug. I enjoy those. They're cheap, hard to fuck to find, but when you take them, it just makes your head go completely different perspective. I really enjoy that. Uh, I've tried my fair share of pills, which I'm not too proud of to say, but it was for fun. It wasn't the best idea I've ever had, but the coke on the weed made me feel more jittery. If you've ever done any kind of ADHD medicine, it was the same as that. I felt more up. It wasn't like I'd snorted a line of coke, so it wasn't nearly as intense as I've heard it can be. Weed makes me feel. It's in your head. I feel it in my head, and like on the tips of my fingers, and then on my toes. I just feel more. I feel lighter. My head feels lighter. My thoughts are a little bit faster firing. I think faster, and I think it helps me focus a lot more. A lot of people disagree with me. They say it doesn't help them focus, but I've always smoked weed before school and work and everything. It's helped me focus more. Uh, of course, the pills I've done, they make you feel how you think they any painkiller. If you've hurt your arm, if you've gotten prescriptions before, you feel it in your head, you feel it in your teeth. I remember both of them particularly that I'd done. It made me like my teeth felt numb after I'd taken them. I'd taken them different ways. I'd swallowed the powder. I've snorted a few. I've taken them plain. And snorting things is stupid. I learned that early on in my life, about my second year of college. You don't snort anything. Don't snort pills. Don't snort Molly. If you're going to snort something, just snort Coke if you have to snort something. But don't put anything up your nose. Molly is a very intense feeling. Uh, I felt it in my head. It mostly I could feel it in my like behind my eyes particularly. You can't really control your facial movement so much. Like I found myself grinding on my teeth a lot. Um, my pupils were really dilated. It was hard to sleep. Um, and also, you don't know when you have to pee. That was the worst part. I was constantly afraid I was going to piss myself because you can't feel your bladder. You can't feel yourself needing to pee. You have to keep going to the bathroom, making sure you pee. You gotta drink lots of water because it can dehydrate you really bad. The way weed makes me feel, it's different. It was different at first than it is now. At first, it was I wouldn't say it was like being drunk, but it was just as intense as being drunk. I was definitely a different state of mind. I remember a few situations where I could barely talk at first, but that was in the beginning. Over time, especially now, after so many years, I can smoke a giant amount, and I'm still in my normal state of mind. I usually go to class incredibly high. Has been something I've been doing for the past 3 or so years, and it's served me pretty well. I don't really fail, and my grades are pretty decent, so it's been not a problem. The other drugs I've done, there is this one incident I could talk about with weed. My friend is the same friend, same stoner friend that helped me smoke, that started me smoking weed so much. He traded a shift with this girl at work. It was this chick named Jess. She was black. Funny story. Jess knew my brother. Small world. Anywho, he traded his shift for a bag of weed, and This weed was weird. It was this very low grade weed, but it was incredibly powdery, and we smoked it, and it made us feel a little bit different. I felt a little more jittery, more standing up. It felt like standing up. It's kind of like when I did Adderall. I used to get prescription for Adderall in high school, and it was the same feeling as that as well as being high. And turns out we asked her what it was all about because we knew it wasn't normal. And she said she sprinkled coke on the weed. She had sprinkled an amount of cocaine on the weed, which you should never do to somebody without telling them first off. But we finished the bag because after we found out what it was, we weren't too scared anymore. And it was a fun experience. But I'm not planning on ever sprinkling weed on my coke again. I did have friends that they used to roll blunts and they'd put cocaine in them, they put heroin in them, and that I never joined in any of that because I thought that was a little too much. But they enjoyed it, and that's their business. Some of them are doing well now, some of them aren't doing well at all. Uh, Mushrooms, like I said, were my favorite, and the way they made me feel, like my mind. I'm not gonna sit here and throw some silly psychonaut do LSD and mushrooms. It'll completely let you control time and space bullshit. I think that's stupid. But they do change your perception. You see things differently. You think differently. Things that come at you, you have a different view on, and it gives you a feeling of euphoria. I'm not gonna say it's gonna change your life. I've had people tell me, do these mushrooms, do this acid, you're gonna change your life completely. That's I think that's silly. Um, I've never tried acid because I have a fear of getting a research chemical